Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to weeknight of MLB action. We're going to be covering it just like we always have. We just get ever so closer to the All-Star break, and there's just so much action. Their teams are hanging out near the top, and the pretenders, a big pretender, which we will talk about very briefly, is being exposed, and the true contenders are standing out. They are outlasting the crowd, but it is still early, but it is still relevant. So we're gonna dive into it. I am your co-host Barrett Boombasta, joined as always by my co-host and right-hand man Travis T-Bone Lawfully. What up, man?
Man, I'm doing well. It's time to talk some Major League Baseball. It's certainly, like I said in the green room right before we hop live here, it's like everything is just happening at once right now. We're staring down the All-Star break coming up soon. Trade deadline comes up shortly after that. It is it is the time of the year where yes, teams get exposed for who they are. Organizations have difficult decisions that they have to make, whether they're really going to go all in, possibly to host the trophy at the end of October, or start selling off pieces, start looking towards the future, and some interesting stories to be talked about right now for sure.
Oh yeah, there's some drama happening in the world of baseball as of recent. But before we get into the drama, the steamy drama, we have to start the show like we always do with our no doubter of the week, the namesake of the show. And this time, this guy finally gets it. Last time we gave him an honorable mention, and the only reason why we didn't give it to him was because the person who did win, Jesus Sanchez, hit the fifth longest home run in the Statcast era history. So we had to give it to him. But this man it is now his time. He is not only the No Doubter of the Week winner, he is the winner of Major League Baseball's AL Player of the Week. I'm of course talking about the man who just got paid $115 million over the course of 6 years, Yordan Alvarez of the Houston Astros. And the home run that we talked about happened on June 5th. So, without further ado, I'm going to pull it up. No doubter of the week, Yordan Alvarez from June 5th against the Kansas City Royals. And there are many reasons why we chose this. One, it passes the eye test, but two, one of my friends was at this game. So we have an eyewitness account of this home run, and he said from firsthand that he hit the crap out of this ball. You're about to see. It is the 1-1 count in the top of the eighth. Astros leading 3-2. No one on base, 0 outs. And here comes Vizcaino throwing the pitch. Boom! 88-mile-an-hour ball. It just, you don't even know where the heck it went. It's just gone.
I feel like the Royals have a very home run friendly park.
It's a hitter. Oh yeah.
It's definitely it plays very downhill for sure.
Oh, yeah. 456 feet. My goodness. It's just the guy. And this is when he recently got paid. We'll go ahead and take a look at it again. He recently got paid. He's not slowing down. In fact, in the week that he got paid, he wins Player of the Week. That guy's a mammoth. I've seen him in person, and it is special.
His swinging motion has kind of some shades of Prince Fielder to it. A little bit more control because Prince Fielder was a rather large man who had to throw everything into it. But Yordan Alvarez, he's a big guy too, but definitely a bit more cut. But he's got that sort of almost golf swing across the gut sort of approach there at the plate, and just the incredible amount of power that goes behind it. So that's a good selection there. I approve of that.
Yes, 456 feet, 114.3 miles per hour off the bat, 32-degree launch angle. When you throw Yordan Alvarez changeups, and he knows it's a changeup, he's just going to hit it out every single time. You'll be able to fake him out every once in a while, but changeups, pitchers have got to be wary about that. I've just seen a bunch of his home runs come off changeups. It's like you might as well be just throwing a lob over the plate, and he just hits the crap out of it. So, good job, Yordan Alvarez. Keep on matching it because you're worth every penny. So there you go. No doubter of the week. And now, before we get into the recast, we have quite a lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of stuff happening in Major League Baseball, particularly in terms of the form of the axe. You have managers getting the axe. The teams have had no more. They are done with this tomfoolery. We're not even halfway through the season, and they are cleaning shop. And it all starts with the Los Angeles Angels. The Los Angeles Angels are a team that we were talking about this year, and we were raving about them. In the past, we've talked about how they deserve to be paid attention. They were giving the Astros a run for their money. They were like,
Just 2
what?
weeks ago, they were 12 games above 500. And
Seriously.
spoiler alert, in those 2 weeks since, they have lost all 12 of those games. As such, Joe Madden was told to pack up his desk, leave the facilities there out in Orange County, and find work elsewhere. So,
Yeah. Oh, man. And in that 12-game losing streak, Mike Trout went on the longest hitless streak of his career, 0 for 26. That's pretty bad.
That's one of those type of things where, like, you look at it's one of those glaring statistics whenever, like, a manager, a coach, something in sports, like, they get fired, there's going to be not just performance in game, like total team wise, but like a certain player or like a certain situation that's just the nail in the coffin. And your star player putting that type of performance up just over the last couple of weeks. There's clearly was some disconnect somewhere.
I know, and Shohei Ohtani's been cold too in those 12 games. Both of them have had batting averages below 200 in those 12 games. I mean, it's just when you're superstars, your 1-2 punch, they're not producing. It's no wonder why you're losing those games. And some of those games were close losses. It wasn't blowouts every single time, but they ended up getting the L. And as it currently stands, they are 8.5 games behind. And again, the sky's not falling. We're not even halfway done. You definitely want to be in that 5-game range, but at least it's not terrible. And you can look at this and you can say, "Oh, it's overblown." But I think, Travis, you were onto something, because I think there is more to it. It's not just the 12-game losing streak. There's got to be something else at hand. Maybe it's a communication breakdown. Maybe he's lost the trust of his players. Maybe they don't respect him anymore. Maybe he's not getting along with the GM. There's a whole host of things that could be going on.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I've got an article open here from
Okay.
ESPN talking about it. This is from Aiden Gonzalez, what he wrote here. And so it talks about the whole situation here. It quotes Manassian, their general manager, I believe, here. And so the press conference today they gave. Manassian said, "It's tough," quote, "disappointed it's come to this. I really like the man. It's somebody I'm going to talk to the rest of my life. Just the conversations daily, who he is, what he's about. You guys were around him, the energy he brings, how consistent he is on a daily basis. It's tough. It's tough. But you got to be able to take emotion out of things and make decisions. I've taken the emotion out of it and taken a step back, looking at where I'm at. As tough of a decision as it is, I felt like it was the right thing to do." End quote there. Manassian goes on to say there hasn't been one phase of the game where we've been good. Struggle in the mound, struggle at the plate, struggle defensively, struggle base running. He says and so kind of going on the exact quote here, and says that he said that effort's been great. He believed in the group. He still believes in the group, that is. He's excited about the next 106 games. Madden apparently was pretty surprised here what he said in an interview he did with The Athletic right after the decision was made. Quote, "You always rely on people in charge to read the tea leaves properly. This time they did not. You can ask any of the players or coaches. They're the ones who really know. Perry was in a tough spot. I understand that. Let me put it that way. I would really rely on the sentiments of the coaches and players." So this sounds... It sounds like the mediocrity and just the mess and dysfunction of this of this Angels organization is is all coming home to roost at this point. And when you
Yeah.
and yeah, it becomes all that more exposed when your star player is literally not playing in a way that he can carry a team on his back uh there. And so yeah, I mean, the way they haven't even played like a 500 team over the last couple weeks. It's not that like, they've got around the 500 record right now and they've just been playing that way the entire year. It's like, this is a team that we thought was in contention, to take home the I got to take home the AL West title the way that they were playing just earlier last month. And in a month span, that is all completely reversed course. And I think there's some things have gotten a bit more exposed than we maybe would have expected. We may have all bought a little bit of fool's gold at first with this Angels
Oh
team.
yeah, people like Jeff Passan, they were like, this team had a chance to make the playoffs. Well, it's just teams get hot, teams get cold. Yes, 12 games is a lot. But I mean, it's not a crazy amount. I mean, it's not completely outside the realm of possibility. I don't know. Joe Madden is an interesting character. He led the Chicago Cubs to the World Series. They won the first time in over 100 years. He is a very analytically minded manager. He was a manager for the Rays. He walked with the bases loaded with them. He walked with the bases loaded this year, both times. In those two instances, it paid off. He is very progressive in his stance. I've read about him when he was with the Rays, so he's a good manager. I just it's a lot to hang up. I would not be surprised if he gets another job. Look at the teams that have managers. Some of these bottom feeder teams. We're talking
No, he.
Pirates.
I'm
I
just
don't know.
thinking, hey, there's a team out there in Chicago, city where he's had some success before, and
Oh.
White Sox, you got a lot of talent there, and things aren't going so great. I think
Ooh,
there's a man
okay.
that you could maybe call to turn things around there out on the south side.
Maybe. I don't know. I think Chicago White Sox, I think they would do better with a more like a Gabe Kapler type of manager. That's just my opinion. I think people like Tim Anderson on the White Sox they want more of that new school vibe. And not to say, I mean, Madden is no Tony La Russa. Tony La Russa is a dinosaur,
Yeah,
but
Madden's
Madden,
kind of like the George Clooney of
yeah,
of all baseball managers. Like, the man's got some swagger to him.
he does. He does. All I'm just saying is he's gone now, but there's going to be a team that's desperate. And they're like,
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. The resurgence of Baker, the resurgence of Buck Showalter, Tony La Russa. You got the old cats coming back in, and people want managers. They want managers who they have experience, and Madden has the experience. Maybe it was, I don't know if it was justified. It might have been. Maybe a change of scenery will do the Angels good. Maybe they're desperate to have them come make it to the playoffs. I don't know. It's it's hard to digest it, but the bottom line is that it happened. And you know what else happened? Earlier in the week, Joe Girardi, the manager for the Phillies, he got fired after the Phillies went on a 22-29 start. And we've been covering this. We've been aware of how they've been underperforming. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of surprising. And I really don't think Joe Girardi, I don't think he really fit in well with them from the beginning. It never seemed like they would amount to it. So that's not as surprising. Now, the Angels is more surprising because again, they start off hot. They make our power rankings. I think that the one time they were in the top 5, maybe even the top 3 in our power rankings. I mean, they were hot, hot, hot. Roller coaster of baseball. The streaks, when they're long, man, it's big. Yankees have been on 10-game win streaks, and look where they are now. They're 7 games ahead in the East. And it's just you live and die by the streaks. And when you're cold, 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 ice cold, it snowballs, man. So, as of June 2nd, there were 2 managers named Joe, and as of today, there are 0. So, no more Joe. Oh man. Oh, hey Joe. What you doing with that gun in your hand? Hey, Hendricks. I don't know. Anyway, So very, very spicy couple days in baseball. But now we want to bring up another general topic, and this was a rule that I at least was not aware of. And I doubt you were too, Travis, because this we've been talking about position players pitching. The Cardinals have been they don't use it as a white flag, they use it as a screw you. And a victory lap. This time, the whole concept of position pitchers, position players pitching got viewed in a new context, and I will show you why. The Los Angeles Angels were the Dodgers were prevented from pitching a position player during their half of the ninth inning on June 5th against the New York Mets after unwittingly violating a recent addition to the rule book. So it is recent, but it is still a part of the rules. So let's explain. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts intended to use utility player Zach McKinstry to record the final 3 outs of the 9-4 contest against the Mets. This is at Dodger Stadium. It's the top of the ninth. The Dodgers already exhausted 6 pitchers after Walker Buehler was pulled during the 3rd inning in the shortest start of his career. Pause that for a second. Man, if Buehler's been pitching this whole time and he's pitched longer than 3 innings so far, that's actually pretty good. I mean, you can have games where starting pitchers get absolutely rocked. And if this is the first time he got absolutely rocked, he's still pretty good by that time. So they have to pull him out in the 3rd, and they're scrambling. They were hoping to avoid further depleting their relief corps heading into the following day. And so then they try to put in a position player. Nevertheless, the umpires convened before the crew chief announced that McKinstry could not pitch. And you're like, what the heck? And the explanation invoked a rule that Major League Baseball and the Players Association agreed upon in 2020 that would bar position players from pitching in games with a deficit of 5 runs or fewer unless they were designated two-way players. So as of 2020, a lot of time, probably a COVID, instigated rule. If it's 5 runs or fewer, you cannot have a position player pitch. The rule had not been enforced in either 2020 or 2021, so it wasn't. So they created it, but didn't enforce it for 2 years.
Just like it wasn't enforced because the situation didn't come up to where it needed to be enacted, or just like, or there was previous situations like this we can trace to, but they just chose not to enforce it.
I don't know either way, but all I'm saying is that it's I don't blame Roberts for forgetting about it or not being aware of it. I mean, he said it's a rule that obviously is in place for 2022. They were talking about it in 2020. He goes on to say the goalposts have been moving a lot. It's an oversight on my part, but I do recall that we did it last year. They kind of had to confer to make sure that it was the case. They got it right, the umpires. So, I mean, he's acknowledging, if the rule's rule. But the question that we need to ask ourselves, is it a good rule? Trav, what are your thoughts?
Reading this here. Okay, so position player, bringing a position player when you're down by 5 runs, as when the rules has to be 6 or more runs for you can do so.
Yes.
I don't like how they get to this number of 6. Like, how is this magic number chosen here? That's my question. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean,
yeah, it's like I would need to look at the Major League Baseball rule book or like get some insight from like a rules expert analyst here to like explain like what the origins kind of thought process was behind this. Like if there's like a certain threshold that they see with 6 versus 5, I don't know. I mean, goodness gracious, this just is the game not being able to get out of its own way here. Classic Major League Baseball type of stuff. That's my initial reaction to this.
It's a dump rule, and I'll tell you why. Shohei Ohtani is reimagining and paving the way for position players pitching. Brett Phillips, all the times where he's pitched, I guess we were unaware And we just didn't really realize that the Rays, when they would put in Brett Phillips the multiple times they have, I guess they were down by more than 6 or more runs. But we just didn't really realize it. We just knew they were getting blown out. But they have the Shohei Ohtani rule this year. It means if you're pitching and then if you're out, you can still remain in the lineup. So they made a rule for Shohei Ohtani. It's indirectly called the Shohei Ohtani rule. They need to understand that, I mean, if they're going to have rosters as low as they are going to be games in which teams are stretched. And really, I don't see the problem. I really, really don't. An athlete is an athlete. I mean, I don't know how they're even able to distinguish. You are a pitcher. Well, I guess you put it on the roster. So, I mean, you got to give them some kind of designation. And clearly, if you're a pitcher, you're a pitcher. And if you're a position player, they give you center field, left field, second base, whatever. Okay. But at the end of the day, an athlete's an athlete. And if a team wants to do that, that's their decision. I mean, and why is it a bad thing? It is stigmatizing position players pitching. I mean, they were essentially giving up. They would rather risk, not blow out their bullpens. They were going to bat in the bottom of the ninth, and they were down by 5 runs. So they were like, we're going to take a risk. Hopefully, Zach doesn't give up any runs, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 runs max. So, yeah, I mean, odds are they're going to lose the game, but they don't want to just completely blow out their bullpen. But it's a dumb rule. They need to remove it entirely. That's my opinion. Get rid of it. You should be allowed to put whoever you want on the mound at any given point of the game, period, end of story. And because they know what they're doing. They're not specialized pitchers, but that's their decision. It's your decision. And if you want to do it, yeah, they're probably going to hit 5 bombs on you, but whatever. It's baseball. The theme of these is baseball getting in the way of itself.
Since whenever the date was that Major League Baseball began.
1880 something.
Yeah.
Over 100 years. So, man. But funny stuff. A very jam-packed week of hot topic baseball action. But now let's get into the meat of the program. Let's start with the recap, starting off with the AL East.
Yes, sir. The AL East right now. And friends, hate them or love them, the Yankees are still sitting on top right now. They have won nearly 75% of all their games. They're 39-15 right now. You know what? Want to know why that record is significant? Because they basically at the third of the way point through the season right now, with the 5-4 victory that they had a couple days ago over the Detroit Tigers, being at the 39-15 at 1/3 of the mark. That is the best record, I believe, of an American League team since the Seattle Mariners back in 2001, when I think they were like 42-15, something like that, around the third of the way point. So, or 42-12, something like that. So the Yankees just continue to kill it right now. It is the Aaron Judge show all the way around, offensive wise. There really is not a lot new to report just in terms of what's happening up in the Bronx right now. It's the Yankees doing Yankees things. I don't know if we talked about this last time. Derek Jeter is on social media now. He he's on Twitter. I forgot what he did the other day. It's it was he quote tweeted somebody. It's like, man, it's going to be like the end of time. And Derek Jr. saw guy can be on social media. He quote tweeted this guy. He's like, well, I guess it was a good time to join. And so he's on there now. And the captain himself has a social media presence. Yankees just doing Yankees things right now. There's just not a lot new to report with these guys. They're killing it. Let's talk about Toronto though. Toronto is, they're starting to heat back up a little bit
Uh-huh.
here. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. They're 32-22 on the year. That's still 7 games behind the Yankees for the top spots in the AL East, but safely within the wild card spot for right now. And this team, is starting to put some things together. It really ultimately has, pitching has been phenomenal. We've talked about that multiple times through this year, so we've covered the Blue Jays. But it's been the offense that they is needed a little bit of work. But you're starting to see it heat up a bit here. Like you've got 6-5, 11-10 wins over the Angels, 6-5, 7-3, 8-3 wins over the White Sox. 12-3 win over the Twins the other day, 8-0 win over the Royals. Right now they're playing the Royals right now, still in their series against them. Can't pull them up here on the board. Oh yeah, they've got a 2-run lead over the Royals right now at the bottom of the third. So this team is trying to put together some more offense, and sometimes it just takes one person to really kind of help it out for a team. And you've got to recognize right now here to give some love to for this team is certainly helping them out. Santiago Espinal, the second baseman right now, is batting .283. He's now the new team batting leader for this Blue Jays squad. Also has an on-base percentage of .341 and is slugging .446. And you still got that compliment with Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s 13 home runs on the year and his .254 batting average. George Springer still leads this team in RBI and has a pretty nice .273 batting average to go with it. So you're sometimes it just takes one person to come in and can help change things. And we might be seeing that with Espinal here, getting these guys a little bit of a boost here at the second base and in that lineup for them. So good to see that for the Blue Jays, starting to live up more to their expectations that we had for them going into the season. Just still going to be a lot of work to catch up to the Yankees, because the Yankees are just on another level compared to everybody else right now in the American League, in the American League East. Tampa Bay Rays, they're still right there in the thick of it as well. I believe they also hold one of the wild card spots too. Much of the wild card positioning locked up here by this very strong AL East division. Yandi Diaz, the first baseman, leading this team with a .282 batting average. Also, the rest of his slash line looks like .422 for on-base percentage and .369 for slugging. Kevin Kiermaier, center fielder, 6 home runs on the year. Ji-Man Chua, first baseman.
Choi.
He has, Choi.
There you go.
He has 25 runs batted in on the year, .263 batting average as well. You're starting to see this team squeak out some more of these closer games, which is what you'd expect out of a Rays organization here, being able to work it out that way. Pitching still remains really just as strong as ever. It's the Shane McClanahan show, but they could certainly use some more offense and some more consistency and some better situational hitting to help really get the full potential out of what that Rays clubhouse could be. A lot of things still remain the same, but definitely keep an eye on that Blue Jays team right now. We might be starting to see them really building some momentum at the right time of the year.
Yeah, I sure hope so. I mean, I chose them to win the whole thing, so selfishly, I wish they do. It's just they're a team that hopefully they can really dig deep and play to their full potential. So, but they do have a long way to go. I mean, come on. It's like, they're 7 games back. Anything can happen, but I mean, come on. Rays, Blue Jays, I mean, make it exciting. I mean, both of them, those two teams are slated to be 2 of the 3 wild card teams, as if the season were to end right now. Funny enough, the Red Sox are actually slated to be the 3rd wild card team. So the Red Sox are not completely out of the playoff picture yet, if you look at it from a wild card stance. But it is a very competitive division. Those 3 teams are really the top dogs, and the Yankees are they haven't cooled down. And even if they do, they have wiggle room because they have such a buffer. So, but I don't know. I don't know if they can handle it. I don't know if they can hold on to it. I don't know, but they're proving to be the Dodgers of the East, the
Yes.
Yankees. Go figure. The teams with the deepest pockets doing amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
wow.
And the Yankees actually living up to that payroll right now.
Seriously, yeah. I mean, their fans are on top of the world right now. I mean, they are closing in on being the first team to 40 wins. So insane. 39-15. My goodness. That's crazy. Anyway, moving on over to the National League side of things, like the Yankees are to AL, the Mets are to the NL. It's the Mets. 8 of their last 10, a 3-game win streak. They're 38-19. They have 9-game lead over the Braves, and this is all as of recent without their 1-2 punch, Jacob DeGrom and Max Scherzer. They're still out on injuries, and yet they keep doing it. Man, I don't know who to chip it on, but you might have to. You probably do have to give Buck Showalter credit. Everybody thought he was going to be a dinosaur, but I think we underestimated Buck Showalter. You can't have a team, even with the recent Walker roster acquisitions. It is clear that Showalter, he has at least a small part to play in how they're doing. He is letting them be themselves. They're having fun. The fans are having fun, and I'm just extremely impressed. I think there's something different about it, and I'm just going to keep saying it until proven otherwise. Pete Alonso's having the best start to a season of his career. 16 bombs. I mean, a 546 slugging, 906 OPS. I mean, my goodness, finally, Pete Alonso. I mean, he's the man. He is, he's not just repping the home run derby, which he's probably going to be in this year, but but he's actually good in the regular season. So it's not just, lob balls. He's mashing the crap out of them, and he's a big dude. And he's doing good. Francisco Lindor is playing decent. Not amazing, but decent. But that's all you need out of him. Because you look at the rest, there's the Jeff McNeil comeback tour. He has an 813 OPS. Starling Marte really settling in with a 760 OPS. I mean, a 278 batting average. You want to see that go up a little bit. Mark Canna, man, that guy's so underrated. 302 batting average, 767 OPS. And you got people who are able to just come on in and they're able to make do with what they got. Luis Guillorme, butchered it. I don't care. 856 OPS. And yeah, he doesn't have a lot of at bats, but in the few bats that he's had, he's been doing outstanding. And when it comes to pitching, yeah, there's 1-2 punches gone, but you have starting pitchers with you got sub 3, sub 4 ERAs. Chris Bassett, 374. Carlos Carrasco, 352. Taijuan Walker, 288. I mean, those are some pretty decent numbers. You got their closer, Edwin Diaz, 238 ERA. It's manageable. They're getting the job done. They're getting the wins when they count. So while they have room to play. They have even more of a buffer than the Yankees do, and it's a matter of time. The offense is there, and that's very, very clear. I mean, they're scoring a ton of runs. In fact, they're scoring so many runs that they have the most runs scored in all of Major League Baseball. So the offense is finally there. It hasn't been there in the past few years, but now it is clearly there. So not if, but when Jacob DeGrom and Scherzer get back, they're going to be real scary.
Yeah, and you bring up the point about Buck Showalter here. Buck Showalter might not be a manager that he's the reason why you win a lot of games, but the teams that he coaches, like teams don't win in spite of him. It's not the opposite
Yes.
way around too. Buck
Mhm.
Showalter really does his best work when he has talent to work with. And you look, previous stops, the Rangers of the 2000s, the Orioles of recent and stuff. Not a lot in the cupboard there to deal with. But you come into a Mets organization, you're bringing in some new life. I don't think I can remember really Showalter having a reputation, you can correct me on this, but Showalter having a reputation of just being a toxic guy in a clubhouse there, of like, being somebody who knows the game of baseball, but just like doesn't unite people, that there's just kind of like this old curmudgeon that stands his ground, that doesn't know how to manage people. No, like clearly they're playing free and easy baseball up there in Long Island right now. It's showing they've got some talent. The offense is hot there, and it's paying dividends for this club this year.
Oh, absolutely. That's the Buck Showalter way. He's just the man who, I mean, you laid out his legacy clear as day there. So, he's got a good track record. So they got a lot of the good things going for them. The Braves, they are 9 games back, but most recently they are on a 5-game win streak, 7 out of their 10 games. You like to think that they are starting to figure things out. They're 1 game above 500, and it's time that I kind of look at their roster, because I really haven't this entire time. It all starts with their batting. Their offense is pretty rock solid this year. The pitching it's been tough, but it is getting better. Offensively, Austin Reilly, such an underrated third baseman, 14 homers. He's slashing 265, 336, 530 slugging. That's amazing. 866 OPS. Matt Olson fits like a glove. 7 bombs on the year, slashing 255, 363, 466, 830 OPS. Now, other than that, you have people who are underperforming. Ozzy Albies, Ozuna. They have OPSs under 700, so that's not great. And you really want to see them do well, because they just don't have a lot of firepower. Ronald Acuna is back, and his numbers are stellar. He's slashing 313, 408, 475 with an 883 OPS. So, it's great to have him back. I'm glad he's back. His numbers are great. Already has a win above replacement to his name, despite the fact that they missed a ton of the season. On pitching, they're starting to dial in a little more. Max Fried, 2.74 ERA, 1.01 WHIP. Kyle Wright, 2.41 ERA, 1.07 WHIP. But that's where it kind of ends. Charlie Morton, I love the guy, but he's kind of struggling. 5.63 ERA, 1.53 WHIP. Yikes. Ian Anderson, 4.70 ERA. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Oh, man. You can't. It's just, the bullpen's not helping out much. And yeah, it's good to have a 1-2 punch, but it's just few and far in between. They really got to dial it up. Kenley Jansen, their new star closer, he has a 3.80 ERA. That's not amazing. It's not elite. It's not Josh Hader by any stretch of the imagination. And you wonder, no wonder the Dodgers got rid of this guy. The Braves, they're the defending champs. They got to do the city of Atlanta proud. So, I don't know. It's looking like they're starting to settle in, but still, I want to see them settle in more, because, again, they are the other team I chose to make the World Series, but I need to just get repeats out of my head, because they're tough. It's tough to make it back to back. It has happened. It's not impossible, but moral of the story is, NL East, it's still Mets, Mets, Mets.
Yep. It is Mets domination right now, and kind of everybody else, you're gonna have to show something to to be able to catch them there, because they have so much depth there, and they're getting the job done for sure up there on Long Island. Now we start making our way out towards Middle America now, and the AL Central. Essentially, the gap is closing up a little bit here. You've got you've got the Twins now, 4-6 over their last 10, 32-24 on the year right now. They've got just a 4-game lead over the Cleveland Guardians, and then a 5-game lead over the White Sox. Really, the story right now of the Twins, they definitely have had some injury issues here with their rotation. Bailey Ober is now on a 15-day IL with a strained groin. It's really, you're having to be still carried by Joe Ryan to this point right now. really in terms of like your starting pitching and not a lot of depth beyond that. Yeah, you still tied for 25th in the league for just 12 quality starts on the year pitching wise here. ERA, WHIP, and laying guys on base there. Not not horrible here in terms of what this team is putting together. But you just certainly would like a lot more depth to really see this team as a contender heading into the second half of the season, to feel good about them. Once October rolls around, rather than just being a product of the division that they're in. The Guardians right now, the White Sox, not just a lot new to report there. This is just the AL Central right now is a ho-hum division for baseball. Having trouble paying a lot of attention to them at this point.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty close. I mean, Twins, Guardians, White Sox, they're all there. White Sox massively underperforming. Guardians overperforming in a lot of respects. A 500 team.
Yeah, I don't think we looked at that. We looked at that roster heading into the year and thought that that there was they were probably maybe like a March. We looked at the Guardians. I think we were like, okay, these guys are like a marginal above like a Royals or a Pirates or a Diamondbacks or a Rockies or something like that. So I'll do some more digging into this AL Central next week here to have talk about, but I just don't have a whole lot new to say about them at this moment right now.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's it's a good division. It's competitive, and it's good to see the Twins back up there. They're just like there's an on year off year kind of team. So, it's just funny to see. So. Anyway, moving on into the NL Central, it's still the Brewers show, but a mere half game behind is the Cardinals. This is a very, very interesting race. You got these two teams that are in lockstep, and they are ultra competitive, and they are fighting, baby. The Cardinals' offense is red hot, and it surpasses the Brewers. But the Brewers are still getting the job done, and in my opinion, I think the Cardinals are going to take the lead pretty soon. I think the Brewers, unless they can get that offense up and running again, they are in trouble. Again, the Cardinals are breathing down their neck. But in the meantime, the Brewers, they still have some things to look forward to. Rowdy Tellez, 788 OPS. Christian Yelich, underperforming a little bit. He's kind of coming back, 673 OPS. Hunter Renfroe, 807 OPS. Rowdy Tellez has got 10 bombs on the year. This isn't really a team that goes to the long ball that much, but they invoke small ball. They get the sack flies. They get the job done. For Brewers, when it comes to pitching, Corbin Burns, 250 ERA, 0.92 whip. Pretty rock solid. Eric Lauer, 238 ERA, 111 whip. But after that, it's not terrible after that. Adrian Hauser, 351 ERA. Brandon Ruff, 474. Freddie Peralta, 442. Last year, the Brewers, they had Burns, Woodruff, and Peralta. That was a 1-2-3 punch. But now it's just Burns. Yeah, it's lucky that Eric Lauer's kind of stepping up to the plate. But I keep looking to Woodruff, and I'm like, what the heck? And Peralta, the same. It's, I just think that until they can actually get anything good out of it, it's just not going to work. Josh Hader, again, he still hasn't given up a run, so they do have the best closer in baseball, indisputably. 0.00 ERA. This guy is just, he's amazing. Josh Hader, he's in the prime of his career, and they are lucky. But they can really only use him if they have the lead. Otherwise, it's a waste. So, it is, again, it was good to see him get back into it, but we now look to the Cardinals, and this team is red hot. Paul Goldschmidt, video game numbers. He is like the best. He's pretty much the best first baseman in all of baseball. And yes, better than Vladdy Guerrero Jr. Why? He has 12 bombs, 343 batting average, 423 on base percentage, 8 slugging. Insanity. 1.031 OPS. Tommy Edmonds got 3.2 wins above replacement. I mean, Nolan Arenado, 842 OPS. Fantastic. Yeah, he cooled down a little bit, but a little, it's not that much. Yeah, he had a 1.0 something OPS. Now he's at 842, which is still pretty flipping amazing. But pitching wise, Adam Rainwhite, 273 ERA. I mean, that's pretty incredible for his age. I mean, Miles Mikolas, 302 ERA. Dakota Hudson, 298. These are all the 1-2-3 punch of basically sub 3 ERAs. And that's really panning out. This team, they're having fun. They're putting in position players that screw you options. They've got all the nostalgia plus the young bloods. You got Pujols back. You got Wayne Molina, Wainwright. The gang is back together. The band's back together, and they're having fun. And I know
fun times in the Lou.
It is, and I know that you were high on them, and you even picked them to make the playoffs this year. And you know what? It's starting to pan out. The Cardinals are really doing well, and it's really those two teams at this point. I mean, Pirates 7 games back, Cubs really kind of slipping. I mean, yeah, it was expected, but yeah, it's just turning out to be one of the most exciting divisions in baseball, and it's a good thing that it is.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's a division there. Yeah. When the St. Louis Cardinals are doing well, when the Brewers are doing well, they have the Brewers kind of carry that spirit of a kind of the Tampa Bay Rays of the Midwest there, stuff, just kind of the way that they play, not huge payrolls there, really strategically kind of putting together clubhouses and lineups there. They get runs across and play really effective, fundamentally sound baseball there. When the NL Central is doing well, that's good for baseball. It's fun seeing what's happening right now with the Cardinals. It may be a 2-horse race right now, but it's a really fun 2-horse race in that division. And certainly, I think both those teams have some stuff that they both can be considered contenders, and I think favorites maybe make a bit of a run in the postseason there. So looking forward to continuing to look at the NL Central as time goes on here. And now we take things out west. The gold rush has expired there. The Angels may be on down times right now. But, the Astros, they continue to sit on top right now, 35-20 record here so far on the year, 6-4 in their last 10 games. It's interesting with this Astros team here. You've got it's not fully the Michael Brantley show anymore here now and stuff. You got Yordan Alvarez that's just absolutely been killing it lately.
Oh yeah.
288 batting average. If I can get back to my proper tab here. 288 batting average. The man's slash line also complements with 386 and 610. And then he's got 16 home runs on the year as well, 34 runs batted in. But it seems like, here's the thing. I see, you can correct me if my perception is wrong on this, that seems like from a distance here is that the Astros have just as much power as ever here as a team. It's that the situational hitting, it can really be an issue at times, and their ability to really push across runs and just kind of play smart at the plate and not always completely swing for the fences on things that can be a struggle here. Just between what I'm seeing here in terms of when you see how the Stars are performing, the talent that this team has, but then you see the overall offensive statistics for them and where they sit within all of Major League Baseball. How are you feeling about your Astros to this point here in the season?
It's been the same story the whole year. It's just, is the offense going to be there? Last year, they had the best offense in baseball by every conceivable metric. This year, their pitching has really been solid from the beginning, both starters and bullpen. They have the third best runs allowed in all of baseball. They have some of the best starters and some of the best bullpen. It's all, and I like it when it's just it's just one question. For some teams, it's, oh, you got to have the pitching and the offense working. Well, for this team, whatever Brent Strom did, the legacy that he left, it is continuing on. He left the Astros in a good place. So it's just a matter of, excuse me, can the bats get hot? They have all the potential in the world, and Jeremy Pena's coming in, and he is an absolute stud and a half. He's better than Carlos Correa, at least this season, and he's better than anybody could have ever imagined. So there's not really any holes. It's just a matter of, are they winning? And they're winning the games. They have a really good buffer right now. So I'm not worried. I'm really not worried about them at all. It's just, yeah, it's not explosive offense. They're not like killing it every single game. I mean, this past weekend, it was feast or famine. Blow out the Royals, get blanked by the Royals, and then blow them out. So it's just like boom, 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 boom. And you're just like, man, on and off. But I mean, they're just so far ahead that you really can't worry about it too much.
Yeah, no, it's really until anybody else steps up. Otherwise, it feels like it continues to be Houston's division to lose ultimately. Yeah, so the Astros continue to do Astros things, and even where there's still maybe some holes in this clubhouse, they can continue to get the job done, and whether it's at home or on the road. They're favorite in a lot of their matchups they're playing right now. Yeah, got that 14-7 at home, 21-13 away. Whether at home or on the road, they can win baseball games. It doesn't matter. The Astros train just keeps on rolling right now. We touched on what's going on here with the Angels just earlier. There's a reason why they have lost those 12 games in the row that they have, and that they're 8.5 games now out of first place in the AL West. Then looking at at my Texas Rangers, that is here.
Yes.
Once again, the Rangers continue to heat up right now. Marcus Semien is starting to really put together some nice performances at the plate. This one, historically a slow starter as a player, throughout his career, but now, but he seemed especially slow this year. But it seems like he putting himself in position to make up for that at this point. Got Nathaniel Lowe, the first baseman right now, slashing 256, 306, and 378. Corey Seager has got 11 home runs on the year, also batting 232 and has 25 runs batted into his credit. Adolis Garcia, the right fielder, has 36 runs batted in. It's leading this team this year and is batting 224 right now. Pitching, Martine Perez got that excellent 156 ERA right now on the year, 56 strikeouts and 4 wins, credit to him as a starter. Dane Dunning, 63 strikeouts as well, 1 win, credit to him as a starter. You'd like to see that 4.11 ERA get better, but he's been a good part of that rotation for this Rangers club. They believe it was I think maybe when we were last recording last week when the Rays got that 3-0, when the Rangers, got that 3-0 win over the Rays. They were exactly 24-24 on the year, and they, or I think they may have even had that was 24-23. Excuse me, they were a game above 500, I believe. Actually, we're right at a game above 500, or right there at it. During that Rays series a week ago. And, that was their first time since 2019 that the Rangers had been above 500 at any point. Man, that seems like an eternity ago as a Rangers fan. But the offense is really starting to complement the pitching now. It truly feels like a coin toss of, this will be a team that sits around 500 for the rest of the year or just under. They're now 25-29 as of today, though they've got 5-0 lead on Cleveland right now, up at the Guardians. They're at the top of the 4th, so that'd be a 26th win on the year if they can close this one out today. This is the second game of doubleheader after they dropped the first one 6-3. The Rangers, it is a toss up as to what that fate ultimately is for But kind of echoing my sentiments as of last week, you'll have to like the signs of starting to see some of these pieces come together, and a more stable future and the foundation being laid for that right now this season. And then just in no longer watching a Rangers game, even when they lose, it's like it's been some close games. They're not blowout losses. It doesn't look like glaringly bad baseball as of recent years here that you've seen within this Rangers club. So, yeah, happier times right now out in Arlington. I've been tuning into some of the games lately, and the seats have all been a lot of them have been filled up out there at Globe Life. Some excitement around this team now. You have Mavericks out, Stars out, Cowboys few months off. This is baseball season right now in Texas, and there's a legitimate reason for both the casual and the hardcore fans alike to care about this team, because it definitely is a bit more of an exciting brand of baseball. It just, these guys look like they have morale to them. I think Chris Woodward is continuing to show that, when he has better talent around him, that he's a really good manager for this club. So yeah, I'm happy. My prognostication here for the future is, things are looking pretty good right now. We're not talking about like Lake Tahoe blue, crystal clear, the ball being right now, but it's the crystal ball is, I feel like is showing good times for the Rangers to come.
Yeah, let's hope that they can, make a good run at it. It's just they got some excitement. Marcus Semien, man, you gotta step it up. Be half as good as you were last year. I mean, they're 2.5 games behind in the wild card, so they still have a chance, and they still got plenty of time to make it up for that. And really, that's really the most that they can hope for, is get one of those 3 wild card spots, because it's 3 spots. It's not 2. It's 3, which it will make a difference. So anyway, and last but not least, we go to the NL West, and it's the Dodgers show, a whole 9 yards. They have the best run differential in baseball. They have won 5 of their last 10 on a 2-game losing streak, but it doesn't matter because they are 35-19, and they just continue to be. The Dodgers are just going to be the Dodgers. Mookie Betts playing out of his mind, 16 bombs. He's slashing 303, 383, 592 slugging, 976 OPS. He's the star of the show at this point. He has turned another gear and never looked back. Trey Turner, 6 bombs on the year, 821 OPS, with 11 stolen bases. Freddie Freeman fitting like a glove, just putting up pretty great numbers. 294 batting average, 379 on base percentage, 834 OPS. A great lefty bat. Oh, man. And Chris Taylor, 800 OPS, pretty rock solid. It's really, you don't have a lot of offensive powerhouses that are just absolutely stellar, but they get the job done. And really, Mookie playing as well as he is as of recent, just playing outside of his mind, it really goes a long way because his production is just insane. I mean, he has 3.3 wins above replacement, and he basically gained all that in the course of a month, which is insanity. Pitching-wise, Walker Buehler, 3.84 ERA. A little concerning. You want to see that go back down. I mean, he's your ace. You want to see that, lock in a little bit. Julio Urias, 2.78 ERA. Tyler Anderson, you want him to dial in a little bit. 2.59 ERA. Those aren't that bad. When you have a 1-2-3 punch like that, it's pretty good. Tony Goslin, 1.59 ERA, 0.88 WHIP. Fantastic. I mean, it's just, they just have so much to go with. Clayton Kershaw he's on the 15-day IL with a pelvis injury, and the few times that he's pitched, he's been amazing. So you do want Kershaw back. There is still some good left in him. I mean, he almost threw a perfect game early in the season, for crying out loud. I mean, Clayton Kershaw is still Clayton Kershaw. He is someone that you need to respect. And when he comes back, because it's just a pelvis injury, I mean, he had a bullpen session, so earlier, and it went pretty well. So he's going to come back. So The Dodgers are going to Dodger, but breathing down their neck, 2.5 games back, the San Diego Padres, man. So
Just
they're,
keep hanging around.
I know they do, and all without Tatis. Now, their run differential is not nearly anywhere close to the Dodgers, just plus 26 compared to plus 113. But they get the job done. This Padres team is scrappy, and they are blowing everybody out of the water. Manny Machado is doing Manny Machado things, slashing 327, 402, 540 with a 941 OPS, baby. Jake Cronenworth doing pretty solid. He's got 5 bombs on the year, 648 OPS. Jurickson Profar, 737 OPS. Eric Hosmer, 760 OPS. You know, this team, they're not absolutely mashing, but they get the job done. And really, their pitching is what's keeping them. 0.92 whip. I mean, these are Cy Young caliber numbers right here. The hometown kid is grabbing this team. He's grabbing the bull by the horns, for crying out loud. Sean Manaea, 3.77 ERA. And Yu Darvish with a 4.03. They're starting to get better. They have been worse earlier this year, but they're starting to dial in a little bit. And I think that they're slowly but surely dialing in. That is translating into some really good ball, into some really good results on their team. So they're staying in. Just wait till Tatis, of course. But again, Tatis is just one person. He's amazing, but he's just one person. So I just think that they're doing well as a whole. You got Mackenzie Gore with a 150 ERA, for crying out loud. Nick Martinez, 3.99. It's got a lot of potential right there. And when you look at it, Giants 5.5 back. The Diamonds and the Rockies have really gone back down. I mean, 2 levels we expected. But I want to end off the NL West with giving some love to Brendan Rodgers, who won the National League Player of the Week award. In April, he had a batting average of under 100. He just was not off to a great start at all. But he did with 4 home runs, 7 RBIs, 4 walks, and 2 doubles. And this past Sunday, he served as the Rockies' offensive catalyst in their 8-7 loss to the Braves. So they still lost, but he had a 2-run double, a single, and a solo homer. Since May 1st, he is slashing 344, 566, 945 with 6 home runs and 25 RBIs, all in a span of a month. So good job to you, Rodgers. You know, you and Chris Bryant, I mean, I don't know what you're smoking, but it's not amounting to anything. Rocky Mountain High. Oh, man. Why do you think Bryant wanted to go up there? I'm just joking. Just joking, people. Get over it. Man, there you go. Another rundown of the recaps for the win. And now we kind of circle back the wagons back and we look at the whole. Let's go to our latest power rankings. Rays are still at number 10. Blue Jays hopping all the way up to number 9. They could have gone higher, but we had to give the teams that were still here some staying power. I mean, when you win 8 of your last 10 and you're really starting to contend, you deserve to be in the number 9 position. Number 8 is the Brewers. They've gone down 2 slots because they kind of cooled down a little bit. Number 7, you've got the Twins staying there. Cardinals really starting to heat up. Brewers might be ranked above the Cardinals, but we're ranking the Cardinals above the Brewers in the power rankings because honestly, the Cardinals are just better. The number 16, they went up 3 slots since last week. I mean, they're just on a team on a mission. You got the number 5 team as the Padres staying at number 5. The Astros staying hot at number 4. And then it's just the top 3 teams. They're the top 3 teams, and really they're just kind of circling around each other. They're indisputably the best 3 teams in baseball. But this time it's a little different. The Dodgers were number 1 last time. They're number 3 this time. Mets still number 2, which means, and nobody likes it, but it is what it is. New York Yankees, the number 1 team on our power rankings for this week. Why? They had the best record. 6-game win streak, 8 out of the last 10, plus 102.1 differential. What more can you say? It's all big markets. Predictable. Yikes. But there you go. Another exciting week of baseball. It's just, I mean, I'm itching to get out there to see it in live. Hopefully we get to do it soon. Astros Rangers maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see.
God, it's just so much going on right now.
Up, Trav.
Say what? Sorry, you cut out there briefly.
Sorry. How about you give our listeners, a little call to action?
Absolutely. So, friends, we are closing out another great episode of No Doubter here. Please subscribe to the podcast if you haven't. A lot of y'all probably have done so by this point, but if not, Google, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, we're there. Subscribe. Don't miss out. Leave us a review. Let us know how you've enjoyed our show. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Boom and myself are on Twitter as well, at Boom Bostic and at Travis Lawfully. We've got a YouTube channel we've started that, is helping us bring the show through a live stream. So that way, you can see our pretty faces, because that's why you tune into this show. It's because of that, not baseball. It's that. So make sure that you're subscribed there to our YouTube channel. We'll do some cool stuff with that in the future. But for right now, it brings us a live streaming platform. Take a look at our Patreon, our levels that we have there. We'd love to build a baseball community. There, there's a few different levels you could take a look at. There, different things are included in them. Even just being a part of the very basic level, a prospect, you get a shout out here on our show for basically helping it as a thank you for helping us bring this programming out and making it possible. There's a couple of people right now who are patrons for us that we do give shout outs here. First, our longest standing patron, Mr. Tab Bostic, and then our Patreon producer, the man all the way up the legend level, Mr. Don Hale. We cannot thank you fellas enough for what you've done for this show and helping us recoup some of our costs. Check out our merch store. Our partner at TeePublic has done an excellent job putting together things like t-shirts, baseball shirts, hoodies, crew neck sweatshirts, phone cases, mugs, many more items out there that you can purchase and help spread the word of No Doubter and the great programming that we have going on here. You'll see all those important links in the description below. Boom, close us out like we do every episode.
As you're going into your week, whatever you got going on, guys, it's summer. It's time to have some fun. And the best way to have fun is to do it the No Doubter way. Do it like we do it. Bat 400 and always swing for the fences. Good night, everybody.